Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T. is Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanstradamus, aka Blanchy Kruger. Something's on my shirt is irritating me. Anyway, welcome back. Hope y'all had a great day. What's up, Leatherface? What's up, Shelly? What's up again, TikToker? But anyway, what's up, Figgy from Canada? Anyway, what's up with Goddess Navi? Y'all checking in. Anyway, today's title is Culture versus IQ, the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, I believe that all Black people were not slaves. And we had free states. And we had an industrial revolution. So my point is, I guess what I'm saying is that slavery would have naturally ended. Slavery not naturally ending, but being forced to end was a huge problem for our country. Because really, what Abraham Lincoln did was he infringed upon states' rights. Now, you all can say there shouldn't be slavery, but my question for all of you is, what's your frame of reference? Show me the planet that you all know that exists where wasn't any slavery. Because as far as I know, slavery was everywhere all over the world. So if that was a standard for humanity, how are you demonizing one country for it? It doesn't make any sense. There's slavery going on today, and y'all don't even talk about it. So again, had Abraham Lincoln allowed slavery to continue, I believe it would have naturally ended, especially with the Industrial Revolution, because manual labor in fields is not going to beat a machine. And another myth I want to dispel right now, 3% of white people owned slaves. That means 97% of white folks didn't. That means when y'all was in the fields picking cotton, so were white people. Everybody was picking cotton, tobacco, sugarcane, and all kind of other crops. Y'all weren't special. Y'all were not special. And I guarantee if it was between you all and the white people working, the white folks outworked y'all. I guarantee it. I guarantee the white folks outworked y'all. I guarantee. Anyway, today's title is Culture versus IQ, the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, I know you all dislike me to my detractors. You think I'm a sellout, coon, bootlicker, Uncle Tom, yeah. But I actually defend you all on this whole IQ argument. I know you all don't have a low IQ. You all have low character. And you see the people on the other side, they don't have any wisdom or discernment. So they can't discern low character and low IQ. Because low character on the outside looks like low IQ. Because you're going to say, why would somebody do that? It's because they're decadent and they're doing the will of Satan. But anyway, let's go into this video right quick. Hope you're having a great evening. Let me say what's up to my people on here, YouTube. I say what's up, Figgy, Goddess Navi, Rena Bina, what's up, Leatherface, Paul, Vintage Goods, Willie, Tierra Barnes, T. Kangs, Nicodemus, Patrice, Real Talk Nikki. What's up, y'all? All right, let's continue. Here we go.
If you actually read Lincoln's writings, he said that he had no desire and he did not see.
And shout out to Real Talk Nikki real quick. Real Talk Nikki, just off the love, has sent me some silver coins. And Nikki, I want to say I really appreciate that. That was such a kind gesture, you doing that, just off the love and the strength of doing it. And I really appreciate that. And I want to thank her right now for doing that. She's also a coin. She buys coins and sells coins. And all that too. So if y'all want to get some coins, holla at Real Talk Nikki. She can get your coins. You know, it may come a time where we need these coins. You have to have something tangible, some gold and some silver. We don't know, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Let's continue.
If you actually read Lincoln's writings, he said that he had no desire and he did not see a harmonious future of blacks and whites living alongside each other, holding hands, sharing communities. He said at a minimum, they had to live in separate spaces and would have preferred to send them all to Liberia. That's what the emancipation earning, slave freeing Abraham Lincoln believed. He wanted black people to live separately from whites, as separately as on their home continent, but at a minimum away from whites here. That should have been the fate of black people in America.
So let me stop right here, right? So Abraham Lincoln said that, and I have a quote here from Abraham Lincoln, one quote. There is a moral fitness in the idea of returning to Africa her children. It will indeed be a glorious consummation. Now,
and who emancipated the slaves. If you actually...
I'm going to start it over. But let me just say this real quick. I believe that Abraham Lincoln said that as part of propaganda. I don't believe that he really said that for a genuine reason. I don't. Because if you think about it, if you say you want the black folks to leave and go back to Africa, what are they going to want to do? What are the abolitionists going to want? Everybody's going to want them to stay, because the whole purpose is to have a societal conflict between white and black. So there's no way that Abraham Lincoln meant that, especially when he literally used race as an act of war. Let me say that. He used race as an act of war. He used race to infringe upon states' rights. He used race to preserve the Union. So in no way, shape, nor form do I believe that Abraham Lincoln said that being genuine. It's no way. The fact that Abraham Lincoln even wanted to infringe upon the states' rights lets you know he's working for the enemy. I don't believe he was for America. I don't. I don't believe he was for America. I don't. Anyway, so Abraham Lincoln saying this, I don't really give it too much weight. I don't. Because if you think about it, black folks have been talking about going back to Africa, and ain't damn one of them went back. And the ones that go over there come right back. So it was all cap. It was all propaganda. Marcus Garvey tried it. The pancake Africanists, they trying it. It don't work. Nobody wants to leave America. So Abraham Lincoln saying that, to me, was to plant a seed of, okay, black folks have a place to go. They don't want to leave. It creates animosity. Black folks saying, no, we want to stay. We want to be around white people. White folks saying we don't want to be around. Some saying, yeah, but my point is, it just caused societal chaos. And to me, that's what his intent was. I don't believe it was genuine. I don't. And again, every black person in America wasn't a slave. And there were black folks that owned slaves and plantations. So who was he talking about? We talking about taking all the free people and shipping them to Africa? Who was he talking about? Were you going to uproot all of the people that were, how about the wealthy black people that were here? You're going to get them out of here too? Like, again, then they had this thing, it's called the American, I'm going to play a video, but it's called the American Colonization Society. It was all propaganda, in my opinion. In my opinion. Let's continue.
Read Lincoln's writings. He said that he had no desire and he did not see a harmonious future of blacks and whites living alongside each other, holding hands, sharing communities. He said at a minimum, they had to live in separate spaces and would have preferred to send them all to Liberia. That's what the emancipation earning, slave freeing Abraham Lincoln believed. He wanted black people to live separately from whites, as separately as on their home continent, but at a minimum away from whites here. That should have been the fate of black people in America. That's what the man who emancipated the slaves wanted. Now, all black people today, any black individual alive today, living in America or Europe, enjoys an extremely privileged life as compared to being a descendant of a African who was not enslaved and brought to Europe or America.
So what he's saying is correct. That being born in America, to me, is probably the greatest privilege a person can have. However, what he's neglecting to tell you all is that black people and white people lived around each other. There were white people living around black people. It wasn't, again, you have to factor in poor whites. You have to factor in Irish, Polish. You have to factor in people that was over here that was poor, living around black people, and then black folks that were well-to-do living around white people. So again, he's making it seem like it was just all slaves and that was it. That's not the case. This is what I mean by this broad brush painting of history to make it sound good. If every black person left today, it would be all-out war in America. The only reason that the liberals have not started attacking you conservatives on a consistent basis is because they have black folks to crash out for them. If you remove the racial dynamic from America, because it's not going to work with the Hispanics, it's not going to work with the Asians, it's not going to work with those groups. This racial dynamic only works with black people. If you remove them, then how are the liberals and the communists and the globalists going to get their point across? If the communists can't use the Negro to take over America, then what they're going to do? I'll tell you, they're going to use very extreme measures. And I tried to tell him this. There's no such thing as a homogenous white society. And he commented on his page, but he didn't comment to what I said. I don't like that. I don't like when people that have a high IQ don't comment on what I said. I never said that white people should not be allowed to segregate. They should be able to. They should. I don't agree with forced segregation. Integration. I don't agree with forced segregation. Let the people decide. But again, if every black person left America, what are they going to use? They can't use the Hispanics because they vote almost 50-50. You can't use the Asians. The Jews won't let you use them. Who are you going to use? So again, the only reason it is an all-out war from the conservatives and the liberals is because black folks are the buffer. It's black folks doing the crashing out. It's black folks doing the protesting, the marching, the crying, the rhetoric. It's black folks keeping this thing going. Once you remove black folks, those liberals are going to go take extreme measures. You think it's bad now, what they're doing. Let them not have a racial component. Let them not have a racial component. They're going to be picking y'all off in the streets. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand that half of white people are retarded. He doesn't understand that. You have a whole half of your population, they're dumb libtards. So he thinks if he separates himself from black people, it don't matter. You are in a country that is filled with the enemy. And then when I bring up communism and program them, oh yeah, we got to deal with that too. You dummy. Beholden to the truth is slow. You all built, let you all tell it, you all built the greatest nation. How long did it last? How long did America last before it is what we see today? When was the last golden era? In the 50s? So you mean to tell me the country lasted in prominence from what period to what period? From 1776 to 1960? You mean to tell me y'all built the greatest country known to man and y'all let it fall? You let some communists in Europe, white, I might add, Jewish, I might add, you let them use the Negro to destroy your country. But you want to tell me that you got a higher IQ. I'll tell you this, them countries in Africa right now, the leaders they got now, they still in power. I'm not saying the countries are run well. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they still in power though. You all are in a country fighting against yourselves. And again, I don't believe that Abraham Lincoln was genuine in his statement. I don't.
Can we not just understand that that's obviously true? Do black people not understand hypotheticals? Do white people not understand hypotheticals? If your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather living in Africa avoided the slave ships, avoided the Jewish-owned slave auctioneers, and got to stay in Africa, and he went on to get married and have this entire lineage that produced you, except you were born in Nigeria or Kenya or Ethiopia, do you think you would be happier having never been the descendant of a slave? Or do you think being alive in 2025, living in America, the most prosperous and safe nation in the world, especially for black people, there are no places in the entire world where black people enjoy a higher standard of living than America?
That is true. But what beholden to truth does not understand is that he is not factoring in the programming being targeted at black people. If I take the communist and globalist programming and I say, okay, now we're going to target Hispanics with it. Hispanics are following in the same footsteps as black people without the propaganda. Look how many folks in America are following in the footsteps of black people without the propaganda. You got half of the country agreeing with black people without the propaganda. They're observing the propaganda from the outside looking in. Black folks observe the propaganda from the inside looking out. Programming, propaganda since birth. Every black person. So when you're arguing with somebody black, you're not arguing with IQ. You're arguing programming. You're arguing against culture. You're not arguing IQ. They understand what you're saying, but they see you as the enemy. Beholden to the truth. They've been told that you are the enemy. So no matter what you say, even if it's right, even if it's true, you're still the enemy. You're not arguing with IQ. You're arguing against indoctrination, against programming. And they can't get that. How do you think a country becomes communist? How do you think a country becomes communist? How do you think they get the people to say, we want to give up our freedom for the greater good of the state? How do you think that happens? Through programming and propaganda. So when you see black folks complaining, they're not complaining because it's legitimate. They've been told to complain. They've been programmed to complain. This is why you all got to address the programming. I attack the source. I go to the source of this. And everybody's guilty. It ain't just white liberals. It's liberal Jews. They're guilty. It's black people with influence. They're guilty. Hollywood's guilty. The education system is guilty. It's a collaborative effort to do this. Everybody's in on it. Even you conservatives are in on it because y'all placate to it too. Why in the world is Trump having a Black History celebration at the White House? For what? All that does is reinforce the programming. The moment you say Black history, it's like blowing a whistle and the dog's ears perk up. It's Pavlov's dog. I'm going to bring some food out and ring the bell, but this time I'm not going to bring any food out. It's so many nods to Black culture and society to where folks don't even realize that both sides are programmed. This is why I'm telling you all, you got to show me some slave ships. Y'all got more evidence of an alien being on crash landing on Earth, and you had to do a slave ship. That don't make any sense. Y'all can find Viking ships. Y'all done found Noah's Ark, but you can't find any slave ships. I'm not going with that. So you got to show me some slave ships to confirm this out of Africa theory. Because I've been to Africa, and we ain't nothing alike. I've been to Africa, a few countries, and we are nothing alike. It's propaganda that connects us to Africa. It's all kind of kente cloths and dashikis and movies and TV shows and Black History Month. That's what connects Black folks to Africa. It ain't really a real connection, though. Not a real connection. When I walked outside that airport and went like this, I thought I was going to have a transformation. It wasn't nothing. But folks thinking I was crazy. So again, it's easy to just lump all these Black folks in the same group. Now, am I down talking Africans? No, I'm not. Am I saying that Africans have a lower IQ? No, I'm not. I'm simply saying that you all are painting this thing with a broad stroke. There is a lot of nuance in this thing. Black people are being programmed in the educational system, from television, from social media, from entertainers, Hollywood, from the music industry. Like there's nowhere in society where Black folks aren't receiving programming. Nowhere. There is nowhere they can turn. And they get caught listening to me, they're going to get ostracized from the community. They're going to get called sellout, coon, bootleg. So again, you are not arguing with IQ. You are arguing with indoctrination. You are arguing with programming. You are arguing against propaganda. You are not arguing with IQ.
And so it's an honest question. Is it or is it not a privilege to have been born a descendant of a slave in America versus having never been enslaved? I think we all know the answer to that question. I think the reparation simply being that, okay, you get to live in our country. You get to live alongside us. Eventually, we even desegregated. Eventually, we even tore down all of the laws about Jim Crow. Eventually, we gave you the right to vote. Eventually, you became the presidents and the vice presidents and the congressmen and the CEOs and everything else in the society. Eventually, you were given an unending string of trillions of dollars of direct financial support. It's still not enough. Still not enough.
So what you're telling me, beholden to truth, is that all of that IQ and you still made the dumbest decisions ever. I think a guy's now be mentioning Juneteenth. Think about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a holiday where Black people were told they were free. They said, we don't believe that we're free. We're going to keep working. Then some white folks come years later and say, y'all free, and they believe them. Why would you want to celebrate that? Why would anybody in their right mind want to celebrate the most bliggity and niglet holiday ever, Juneteenth? Why would anybody want to celebrate the fact that when y'all were told you were free, you said, now we want to be slaves? And then when some white folks came and said you were free, you believed them. That is the worst holiday to celebrate. And black folks love celebrating Juneteenth. And it's the worst holiday ever, literally. It's dumb. It's the dumbest holiday known to man. Wait a minute, y'all were free? And you said, now we're going to keep being slaves? Well, it sounds like to me that it wasn't that bad. Because for someone to come to you and tell you that you're free, and you tell them, nah, we good, that means slavery couldn't have been that bad. That means slavery couldn't have been that bad. I believe that when the white folks came, they made y'all stop being a slave. They had to physically remove y'all from the plantation because y'all wasn't going to leave. I have an image of you all grabbing on the master. No, I can't leave, master. I got a vision of you all holding on to the leg of the master. No, master. Tell somebody I want to stay. It's the worst holiday ever. Master, please. Tell somebody I want to stay. I just don't want to go, master. They had to physically remove y'all from the plantations. It's the worst holiday ever. Imagine y'all in the horse and buggies, and y'all leaving, and some of y'all jumping out, running back to the plantation. They gotta hop out the caravan and go snatch y'all up again. They had to chain y'all up. They had to chain y'all up so that you wouldn't go back to the plantation. A lot of them chain pictures y'all see where they was chained up, that was because they wanted to run back to the plantation. It wasn't keeping them from running away. They wanted to run back. They had to chain y'all up to take y'all to freedom. And y'all want to celebrate that holiday. Y'all want to celebrate the holiday. Okay. It's the worst holiday known to man. But back to beholding truth. So beholding to the truth, you're telling me that with all that high IQ, you all made the worst decisions ever people could make when ruling a country. You all have ran America into the ground. Listen to what he said. Listen to him. All this communist influence, but he's so smart.
Eventually, we even desegregated. Eventually, we even tore down all of the laws about Jim Crow. Eventually, we gave you the right to vote. Eventually, you became the presidents and the vice presidents and the congressmen and the CEOs and everything else in the society. Eventually, you were given an unending string of trillions of dollars of direct financial support. So still not enough. Still not enough.
So what you're telling me is that the smart IQ, God-fearing white people, the high IQ Christian conservative white people fell for the Marxist and communist propaganda? That's what he's saying. Now think about it, y'all. White people fell for the propaganda and they wasn't even programmed. White people fell for the communist tricks and they weren't programmed. Black folks was programmed, not them. So you mean to tell me with no programming, y'all managed to hand the country over to the Bliggitties? So you telling me that black folks got a low IQ, but now who got all the cachet in the country? You or a black person? You as a conservative Christian white man, who has more leverage in society, you or somebody black? You are a conservative Christian, seem to be decent white man. And George Floyd has more social cachet than you do. He has more political cachet than you do. How is it that you all created this great nation, but now a common black criminal has more leverage than you do? That's crazy. That's crazy. And instead of y'all admitting that you were wrong, you take credit for it. Beholding truth. Instead of you admitting that you all were wrong and stupid and dumb, you take credit for it. All y'all on these podcasts and shows talking, y'all ain't built nothing. You ain't built like your great-grandfather. You're not. Y'all are a watered-down, weaker version of your great-great-great-grandfather. The folks that actually built this country, y'all are not them. Y'all ain't building nothing. Y'all running your mouth. But you mean to tell me you just laid out all of the reasons as to why America is going down the drain, and instead of you saying we messed up, instead of you saying let's fix it, you want to make it about race. You're dumb. You know what your problem is? You don't have any wisdom. You don't have any discernment. The Bible says that wisdom is a principal thing, therefore get wisdom. But in all thy getting, get understanding. Do you understand, sir, that you are literally going against half of the nation? It is just as many libtards as there are conservatives. But the problem is everybody being born at this point is going to be a liberal. It's going to be more liberals and libtards born than conservatives. Because guess what? They're going to multiply without getting married. See, y'all got values. You want to have a wife. You want to get married. You want to do it the right way. You want to have a family. They don't care about that. They have a whole bunch of kids. They don't care. They don't care. That white liberal is a savage beast. The most deadliest creature on the planet is a white liberal. That white liberal is a beast. It feeds off a maggot-infested carcass. It don't care. You better thank God that black folks are right here in the way. Because if black folks was gone and they had no racial narrative, they would be, you think it's bad now. You think it's bad now. Slaughter. I'm not saying y'all would lose. I'm just saying they would be a lot more violent.
They still need 30 acres and a mule, right?
But listen, I follow Beholden to Truth. I do. I follow Nick Fuentes. No, I follow Nick Fuentes, but I follow some of these guys. The guy with the mustache. I think his name is called, his page is called something about, I don't know, something about feminism or something. I don't know, women, something. Anyway, I follow these guys. I mean, I like their content, but they miss the mark a lot because there's no nuance in their content. There's no nuance. But you can follow Beholding the Truth, you know, Christ and culture, you know, Christ, culture, white identity, fitness, lifestyle. I don't see the good. Listen, what is the point of being white if I'm going to give up a country? Like, all you're telling me is that white people built up, white people built up America and then tore it down. That's the story of America. The story of America is blood, sweat, and tears build it up, but then diversity, equity, inclusion, civil rights, socialism, Marxism, communism, what tore it down? So you built it with blood, sweat, and tears, but you tore it down with a stroke of a pen. So what's the goodness about what's so great about being white? Y'all can build empires and tear them down in the same breath? Like, what are we talking about? Anyway, let's continue. Anyway, I don't believe that Abraham Lincoln was being genuine. I believe that he was an enemy to America. I do. And slavery should have ended naturally because everybody black in America wasn't a slave. Native Americans owned slave, right? Why aren't you mad at them? Think about it. In this country, white people own slaves, black people own slaves, Native Americans own slaves, perhaps Jewish folks own slaves. You have 4 groups owning slaves, but you're only mad at one. You have 4 groups of people owning slaves, but you're only mad at one. And then when I ask you, well, where the slave ships at? This is what y'all tell me. Oh, they got converted into cargo ships. Oh, the slave ships was pirate ships. Y'all tell me everything but a factual statement. They have 5 slave ships on record where they got some kind of tangible something from the slave ship. And when I say tangible, I mean a piece of wood. I mean a piece of string from the sail. I don't mean a ship. I mean a piece of a ship. They're talking about this is a slave ship right here. It's this big a piece of wood. Y'all have found more unidentified flying objects than you have slave ships. Y'all done found prehistoric dinosaur bones. Y'all done found stuff from millions of years ago, but you can't find any slave ships. It's cap. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Under Lake Lanier. Crazy. This whole thing is a psyop. You think some of it's fake and some of it's real? All of it. You heard what Alex Haley said. Most history is fake. He said most history is fake. You know why? Because when he started researching, he realized this stuff is all a lie. Think about you listen to, let's say, Chad or Chuck, Keisha. Think about what you've been taught your entire life and think about what they're telling you. It's night and day. So for history to be that off to where it's literally this over here and it's all cap. It's all cap. So anybody want to argue with me, go find that slave ship for me. I mean one that's intact. Show me an intact slave ship. Yeah, I bet you won't. I bet you can't. You mean to tell me you mean to tell me white folks are so racist and hated y'all so much they didn't preserve a slave ship as a monument? You mean to tell me white people preserved every other aspect of American culture and history except the slave ship? You want to make me believe that white people preserved every aspect about American history except the slave ship. They have the chains, they have the whips, they have the plantations, they have the stories, they have the audio, they have everything except the slave ships. All those tens of thousands of voyages for 200 some years, and y'all ain't got no intact slave ships? And you want me to just take your word for it? I won't do it. I refuse to do it. I'm not going to do it because it's all cap, like I said. They preserve every aspect of American history except the slave ship, conveniently. Looking for the missing link. But what made man go from ape to man? Or what made ape go from where it was to man? We got to find a missing link. My question is, how did slave get from Africa to America? Same missing link. Now here goes Joe Nobody. They found a slave ship in 2019. I dare you to go look it up. Joe Nobody. Y'all want to come over here and question what I'm saying? I dare you to go look it up. You will not find a slave. They're showing you pieces of wood. We found the Candida. They're showing you wood. You know how much wood's in the bottom of the ocean? How do they know it's wood from the Candida, not a regular ship? But y'all believe anything. He said, I just did. I bet you didn't find no ship. I bet you didn't find no ship. I bet you didn't find no ship. You got museums of them preserving fossils. They're preserving fossils. They're preserving things from thousands of millions of years ago and not a slave ship. Doesn't make any sense. Thank you, JV Chanel. They say the slave voyage. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's Google, since you want to Google Joe Nobody, since you want to question what I'm saying. You see, back in the day, Joe Nobody would have got backhanded in front of the class. He would have got, I would have went over there and just smacked him and dared him to do something. Because he's only talking to be a detractor. The backhand came from England. The pimp didn't start the backhand. The backhand came from England. When somebody was talking crazy and it just, because the open hand slap was disrespectful. This was more respectful. This meant I'm teaching you something. This was disrespectful. You know, they're ready to do a duel, they'd be like this. Disrespect. Disrespect. The backhand, though, I'm teaching you something. I've done lives on this before, but let's just go to it. How long did a slave voyage take? $80 days on a ship. 80 days on a ship. Now, each slave ship had 200 to 600 people on there, not including the crew. So my question is, how are you carrying that much water? Now, based on what they show you, Joe Nobody, Mr. Nobody, based on what they tell you, the bottom of the ship was filled with you bliggities. So my question is, where was all of the water for an 80-day trip? Not to mention the food. Not to mention diseases. So if the slaves were getting sick from diseases, so was the crew. And if you have done any research, you would learn that the crew was dying too with the slaves. Now, let me ask you a question, Mr. Nobody. If you had purchased 6 slaves and 2 of them died, and then 4 came off the ship malnourished, would you pay for them? Mr. Nobody, if you ordered 6 slaves, 2 of them died, and 4 of them got off the ship and they were sick and malnourished, would you pay for them? The answer is no, you wouldn't pay for them. So my question is, how is it a lucrative business? Even Google will tell you 15% of the slaves died. So how is it a lucrative business? It defeats the purpose. So the story they're telling you doesn't make any sense. Why would you go and get some people, put them on a ship, get them malnourished and sick, and then have somebody pay for them? Even if I was dumb enough to buy the slave, I would have to pay for the slave to get it well again. So I would have to get the slave and take care of the slave. So that means I done spent all this money on the slave and now I'm in the red. It doesn't make any sense. Paul said, but Black, Noah built a big ark. Oh my goodness. Anyway, listen, you done got me sidetracked. I wasn't even supposed to talk about that, but listen, George Bush said, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you just can't fool me again. Let's look at some high IQ videos. Let's look at some videos dealing with high IQ.
Hay algo de televisión 41, ustedes ven algunos activistas tratando de detener la salida de vehículos que porta a
Let my people go! Let my people go! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go!
Hey, get off the truck! Get off the
Let
truck!
my people go! Let my people go! Let our people
Get
go!
off the truck!
Let my people go!
Come on, y'all gotta move. Y'all gotta move. Y'all gotta move.
No! No! You won't take my fucking people! Don't take my fucking people! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! You're gonna kill me! You're gonna kill me! No! I can't! Don't touch me! Don't kill me!
Okay, get out!
Touch me, bitch! Get the fuck off me! Stop! 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 You're gonna run her over! Stop! You're gonna run her over!
Carissa, you gotta go.
I'm not getting out!
Carissa!
You know why I'm mad? Instead of her going on the treadmill and doing this, she decides to exercise with some foolishness. Any other time, she's stuffing her face with God knows what. She's stuffing her face with God knows what. Any other time. But today, she decides she wanted to be active. She wants to get to move. She wants to get to moving. She wants to work out. Now you want to work out. The white liberal is disgusting. I don't know a more wretched creature than the white liberal. I don't. Let's continue.
Carissa, you gotta run out.
No, please don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! I'm a person! I'm a fucking person! Don't fucking kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't fucking kill me!
Now they talk about black people having low IQ, and literally half of white people are like this. Half of the white people are either like this or they sympathize with this. One of the two. Either half of the white population is like this or they sympathize with this. Imagine if she was doing this with no racial narrative. What do you think she'd be doing? Be kamikaze mission. Let's continue.
Fucking kill me! Don't fucking kill me! Don't fucking kill me! Don't fucking kill me! Let my people go! Let my fucking people go! Let my people go! Let my people go! Let my people go! No!
Sir, let go. Get out of the
Let my people go! Let my people go!
Bring your dog. These are parents. These are community members. Their kids waiting outside. Their kids
America is the greatest country on earth because in any other country, well, let's just say any other non-Western country, she would have never did it. She would have never did this because she'd have got ran over. And I'm seeing more and more videos of protesters getting ran over too. I'm seeing more and more videos of protesters getting ran over. Listen, don't listen. Those days of you all surrounding somebody's car and beating on it, that's dead. You're going to get ran over now. They already gave him the green light. I fear for my life. I'm taking off.
Waiting outside, sir. Their kids waiting outside to see the loved one. Just let them
You're
go.
separating families.
These are our people.
You're separating
These are our
families, sir.
parents. This is our community. These are our community. This is our people. These are immigrant workers. And you know they feed this country. We will not let this country. No. No. Let them go.
And y'all know that most liberals are narcissists. Like they're narcissists. Like this right here is just, you want attention. You're making everything about you. You're making everything about you. This is what they all do. They're always trying to put themselves in a morally high position, no matter what it takes. They'll lie, cheat, and steal to put themselves in a morally high position. All she had to do was lose about 75 to 100 pounds. She could have met a guy and been happy. But instead, she wanted to be built like a plumber. Instead, she wanted to be built like a middle-aged white man that works on a construction site. It's disgusting.
Let them go. Doesn't it hurt you? What is your humanity? Doesn't it hurt you? You know you're kidnapping people. Doesn't it hurt you? Doesn't it hurt you? Where's your humanity? This is not about us. This is about our people, our community.
Yes, and if she didn't cut her hair off and she lost about 100 pounds, maybe, if she stopped watching CNN, I mean, she probably been jazzed, she got that Boost Mobile, so I don't know, maybe she can go to church and the pastor can pray over the mRNA alien swimming in her body. I don't know, but anything's better than this. Like, this can't be there's no way she was a child dreaming of this. Like, there's no way. I mean, her back is as wide as the front of the truck. Like, it's just no way she was dreaming of this as a child. There's no way. My bad, not the truck, the van.
Get away! Let them out! What are you doing? Let them out! Let them out!
Get back!
You see how hard it was to pry that obese polar bear off the front of that van? You see how hard it was to peel that pale manatee off the front of that van? Somebody says she's demon possessed. Yeah, she is. It's all one big show. I guarantee after this protest, she did not go home distraught. She went and got something to eat. I guarantee it. I guarantee she went and got something to eat, and whatever she got, it was a lot of it. I guarantee it. And she probably had a little fur burger too, if you know what I mean.
On the sidewalk! Get back! Get back! Gave the order.
Don't hurt now!
I need the name of the officer who gave the order to drive past these people.
Look at this disgusting.
Watch your back, guys. Just be careful and get off the street, guys. Be careful, all right?
You guys getting your toes run over? We're telling you to get back. We're telling you to get back. Get back. Get back. Off the vehicle.
She's got
Get back. Get back.
You know what's crazy? I'm gonna be real with y'all. She could have not lost the weight, kept her hair, and she could have got with a black dude. Like she didn't even have to. She didn't even have to do all what I said. You know, work out, eat right. Now she could have stayed with the same way and got her a black man and been happily ever after. She could have virtue signaled with some mixed children, because ain't nothing like some mixed children. Like, you know, you got some biracial children. That's the biggest flex for a liberal white woman. She can't. That is her get out of jail free card forever. So she could have stayed the same and got her a black dude, had some children, and live happily ever after. Pause. Or a black woman. Or a black woman. I'm just saying. She could have had a happy life. I'm just saying.
Off the vehicle.
Get off of me, motherfucker.
All right, we're good, guys.
Okay. Now let's see the aftermath.
Yes.
C-U-N-N-I-G. And are you a New Jersey resident?
Yes.
Let me just leave you on this. Based on what we know happened last night with 4 detainees, now we're hearing from the senator that they're going to be moving people from Delaney Hall in the next 24 hours. We don't know where.
Look at her car keys. Look at her car keys. Y'all think she's struggling? Do you all think she's struggling? Do you all think, now listen, that's a European car. I don't know what, do you all think that she's struggling? Let's go back. Look at the car keys. Do you all think that she is struggling? Let's continue.
You guys.
C-U-N-N-I-G.
You guys.
C-U-N-N-I-G. And are you a New Jersey resident?
Yes.
Let me just leave you on this.
Y'all can't see this on Instagram. If anybody's familiar with the Christmas Story, Ralphie's the main character. Willie Doc said she looks like Ralphie from the Christmas Story, and she looks just like Ralphie. She looks just like Ralphie from the Christmas Story. I'm talking about just like him. Right, y'all. No tears. Not a single tear has fallen from her face.
You guys.
C-U-N-N-I-G. And are you a New Jersey resident?
Yes.
Let me just leave you on this. Based on what we know happened last night with 4 detainees, now we're hearing from the senator that they're going to be moving people from Delaney Hall in the next 24 hours. We don't know where. What's going on in this country right now that we've gotten to this point?
It's fascism. They always said, Emiliano Zapata said, fascism would come to this country with a Bible wrapped in an American flag. And here it is. I grew up in an evangelical Christian nationalist home.
This girl said, I grew up. Listen to the talking points. This is how you know it's on a script. She said it's fascism. They always said that fascism would take over America. It would be a Bible wrapped in an American flag. She said, I grew up in a Christian nationalist evangelical household. What? You grew up in a Christian nationalist evangelical household? Please tell us what that looked like in your household. What were they doing to you? We know they were feeding you. What else were they doing to you? What were they doing to you? Because they didn't want you to be a scumbag degenerate. They didn't want you to be a sloth and a slug of a woman. They didn't want you to be a libtard. Please, young lady, explain to me how you grew up in a white Christian nationalist evangelical household. The white liberal is a beast.
I know what it's like in here. I know what fascism feels like because that was my family. My family. My family are Nazis and slave owners. That's my family's fucking history.
This girl just said my family was Nazis and slave owners. That's my family's history. Thank you, Tierra. White guilt. This is white guilt. This is shaved head guilt. This is obesity guilt. This is no tears guilt. This is a Christmas story guilt. This is all the guilts. This girl said my family was Nazis and slave owners.
Because they're Americans and they're white Americans. That's our history. And I can't be a part of that. Fuck white supremacy. I can't take it. You saw what my body was able to do that other people's can't just because I'm fucking white. I know that. But you know what I know?
She said you saw what my body was able to do. Ma'am, your body is able to retain water. Your body is able to consume a high caloric diet. Your body is able to hit the pavement. Like what do we see your body do? Besides hold on and get scraped off and knocked to the ground. What did we see your body do?
Growing up in a white nationalist evangelical home, that it's hurting us deep in the inside. It's a psychic wound. White supremacy is not the answer for white people. It hurts us. We have to let go of that, and we have to protect our neighbors, and we have to protect our friends. Because
Vic asked, how come all the blood's not going to her scalp? Vic, I don't know, Megan. It's like it's red up until a point, like it's red, but then it stops at the scalp. I don't know, man. That's a good question. Oh, that's funny.
we need a country that is reflective of our true values, which are love and community and care. It is not fascism. The Haudenosaunee Nation. New York. Look it up. Carissa. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not a single tear fell. Look how calm she was in the end. Look how calm she is.
Carissa. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is nothing like the white liberal. That white liberal, it's unmatched. It's unmatched. Oh, real quick.
You didn't remember what you said during that viral moment after you found out against the Indiana fever. A lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that. Like, there's no place for that in our league. Wouldn't say that.
So even though you can't remember, you know that was not what you
I know
said.
it wasn't that because I wouldn't use that type of language.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You said you didn't remember what you said during that viral moment after you fouled out against the Indiana fever. A lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that. Like, there's no place for that in our league. Wouldn't say that.
So even though you can't remember, you know that that was not what you
I
said.
know it wasn't that because I wouldn't use that type of language.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I did 2 videos highlighting what Brittany Griner said. And I told you all that Brittany Griner said effing white girl. But she was not talking to Caitlin Clark. She was talking to the referees who were white women. She wasn't talking to Caitlin Clark. She was talking to the refs. And I knew she said what she said. Now you hear her admitting that she doesn't know what she said. But she knows she didn't say that. I don't know what I said, but I didn't say that. Oh, really? I don't know what I said, but I didn't say that. Oh, yeah, we know what you said. The difference is that she wasn't talking about Caitlin Clark. She was talking about the referees. And she said it. And this is what America has been reduced to. Somebody like Brittany Griner being brought home for an arms dealer. Look who they got and look who we got. That's how much leverage black folks have in America. Look what they got and look what we got. They got the merchant, they got the arms dealer, merchant of death, and we got Mr. Grinder. Disgusting. Let's continue. Speaking of Abraham Lincoln,
You claim to be a man who makes great deals. Well, God has sent me with an offer for you to save your nation from his destruction. A 7-year open settlement for all descendants of the transatlantic slave trade who wish to repatriate to Liberia or Sierra Leone. Here are the terms, assuming 2 million descendants take you up on the offer. Each descendant gets $1 million. That's $2 trillion over 7 years, but that's not all. $10 billion over 7 years to Liberia or Sierra Leone for us to build 5,000 modern K-12 schools, fully staffed, owned, and free. $7 billion over 7 years for military aid, training, defense, equipment, and regional security, so we never have to run back to America. $50 billion over 7 years for national infrastructure, roads, power grids, water systems, internet, airports, and ports, done right. That's a total of $2.1 trillion over 7 years. And what do you get in return, President Trump? You become the great liberator, respected not just by black people worldwide, but by leaders and nations across the globe. You did what no president, king, or global institution ever could. You solved America's longest conflict. You shifted the balance of power in Africa. You broke a 400-year cycle. And you're remembered not just in black history, but in world history. You fulfilled Thomas Jefferson's unfinished plan. In Notes on the State of Virginia, he wrote that the only way to heal the deep wounds of slavery was to send the freed people out, equip them, and support them until they became a strong, self-sufficient nation of their own. You become the man who did what Abraham Lincoln dreamed but could not finish. He proposed voluntary relocation to Liberia for free slaves with government U.S. support, believing both sides would benefit. You bring domestic peace and stability to America. 2 million descendants of enslaved people, many who carry the deepest generational burdens from centuries of injustice, will take you up on the offer to build a new nation alongside their brothers and sisters, free from persecution and finally positioned to rise with dignity, strength, and sovereignty. You reduce some of the heaviest long-term societal costs, those who are chronically homeless, formerly incarcerated with limited opportunities, elderly without family support, and medically dependent without sustainable care. This creates relief for U.S. housing, jobs, public schools, and medical systems, reduces spending on prisons, welfare, Section 8, public health care, and legal battles. You achieve a lighter, more focused domestic budget and clearer cultural identity. You end the race conflict in one generation. No more affirmative action wars, no more critical race theory debates, no more systematic racism lawsuits, no more DEI mandates. You finally resolve America's longest toughest conflict, the one no president ever could. You get U.S. corporate expansion on equal terms. America gains a trusted trade partner in West Africa. U.S. companies lead the charge in building 5,000 schools, national infrastructure, and defense systems. Contracts worth tens of billions. Later, they gain early access to a rising $100 billion plus market through fair bidding, not dominance. From roads to telecom, food to fintech, America gets first in line opportunities with a free sovereign ally. We are not building on what Liberia or Sierra Leone.
Okay, so let's go through and pick what he said apart. Let's start from the beginning. First of all, judging by his appearance and his pigmentation, the plan will fail miserably. That's the first thing. So let's continue.
You claim to be a man who makes great deals. Well, God has sent me with an offer for you to save your nation from his destruction. A 7-year open settlement for all descendants of the transatlantic slave trade who wish to repatriate to Liberia or Sierra Leone. Here are the terms, assuming 2 million descendants take you up on the offer. Each descendant gets $1 million. That's $2 trillion over 7 years, but that's not all.
So he starts his plan off by asking Donald Trump for money. When I tell you all that the black man is weak, you see what I'm talking about. You will not see a black man with a plan that doesn't involve him putting his hand out and begging for something. Because he knows that Sierra Leone is in shambles. He knows that Liberia is in shambles. He knows this. And he knows if a bunch of black folks go over there, they're going to get terrorized by the folks already there. Could you imagine if Trump did this and they went over there and started building? They would get ransacked and ran over in a few months. They would be getting kidnapped, held hostage. You're not building a separate colony in Europe somewhere. You're going to the motherland. But again, his plan starts out by asking for $2 trillion. And he wants this to be in 2 countries, Sierra Leone or Liberia.
$1 billion over 7 years to Liberia or Sierra Leone for us to build 5,000 modern K-12 schools, fully staffed, owned, and free. $7 billion over 7 years for military aid, training, defense, equipment, and regional security, so we never have to run back to America. $50 billion over 7 years for national infrastructure, roads, power grids, water systems, internet, airports, and ports, done right. That's a total of $2.1 trillion over 7 years.
So again, he's talking about building a nation. As we learned from Pastor Manning, black folks don't know about building no nation. Can someone explain to me the courses that black folks in America have taken to learn how to build a nation? Show me a black person that's well-versed in building a nation. Show me. Show me. Show me a great black historian that is well-versed on nation building. Show him to me. I'll wait for him. The arrogance to think that you can build a nation simply because you feel like you can build a nation. Black folks are filled with pride. Do y'all trust this guy right here? Do you trust Trump signing him and giving him a check? If Trump gave this man a check tomorrow for $2 trillion, y'all would never see him again. If Umar Johnson ain't built the school with the money, what makes you think he gonna build something with $2 trillion? Let's continue.
What do you get in return, President Trump? You become the great liberator, respected not just by black people worldwide, but by leaders and nations across the globe.
And what do you get, Trump? Recognition? You want me to give you $2 trillion for recognition? Pastor Manning said there's something wrong with the black man's mind. It's something wrong with his mind. I don't care if he a doctor or astrophysicist that ain't got no sense. You asking for $2 trillion, and in return, Donald Trump, you'll be recognized. So this is how slow black people are. Black people think that Donald Trump just cares about recognition. They think he just cares about recognition. That's all. Let's continue.
You did what no president, king, or global institution ever could. You solved America's longest conflict. You shifted the balance of power in Africa. You broke a 400-year cycle. And you're remembered not just in black history, but in world history. You fulfilled Thomas Jefferson's unfinished plan. In Notes on the State of Virginia, he wrote that the only way to heal the deep wounds of slavery was to send the freed people out, equip them, and support them until they became a strong, self-sufficient nation of their own. You
If Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln were who you all said they were, there is no way on God's green earth that they observed you all being slaves and thought that you all could build a nation. There's no way they thought that. There's no way they thought that. There's no way. And this guy is thinking that 2 million black people in Sierra Leone or Liberia is going to shift the balance of power. How exactly? What's being shifted? 2 million black folks that don't know nothing in one location? History shows me that's a disaster. 2 million black people in one location, history has shown me that is a disaster. We have no historical evidence to show us that 2 million black people can be somewhere in one place unsupervised by white people. We've never seen that. God forbid. God forbid.
Come the man who did what Abraham Lincoln dreamed but could not finish. He proposed voluntary relocation to Liberia for free slaves with government U.S. support, believing both sides would benefit. You bring domestic peace and stability to America. 2 million descendants of enslaved people, many who carry the deepest generational burdens from centuries of injustice, will take you up on the offer to build a new nation alongside their brothers and sisters.
First of all, 2 million black folks ain't leaving to go to no Sierra Leone and Liberia. But for $1 million, they'll go over there, but they're going to come right back. For $1 million, they will go over there and come right back. They're not going to stay over there. Because once the locals realize that all of y'all got $1 million, you know they're going to do to y'all, right? Not the white man. Do you know what the locals are going to do when they realize that 2 million black folks is coming to Africa with $1 million apiece? You're going to have every warlord, every army, you're going to have every guerrilla, you're going to have every single entity in Africa that means the pillage and plunder coming to get y'all. Y'all will be the biggest lick in African history. You will be the reason that Africa unifies. They'll put on the internet 2 million black folks coming to Sierra Leone or Liberia, and each of them have $1 million. Man, you will have the entire continent in them countries trying to get y'all. Y'all will be getting kidnapped and tortured and chopped up and everything else. It'll be a horrific scene. It'll be called the massacre in Sierra Leone, the massacre in Liberia. Y'all will be getting extorted. Please, let's continue.
free from persecution, and finally positioned to rise with dignity, strength, and sovereignty. You reduce some of the heaviest long-term societal costs, those who are chronically homeless, formerly incarcerated with limited opportunities, elderly without family support, and medically dependent without sustainable care. This creates relief for U.S. housing, jobs, public schools, and medical systems, reduces spending on prisons, welfare, Section 8, public health care, and legal battles. You achieve a lighter, more focused domestic budget and clearer cultural identity. You end the race conflict in one generation. No more affirmative action wars, no more critical race theory debates, no more systematic racism lawsuits, no more DEI mandates. You finally resolve America's longest conflict, the one no president ever could. You get
Blash, why don't you speak about Ibrahim Traore and Burkina Faso? Is that one dark-skinned dude in Africa, him? I mean, I can get on him. I just saw a video of him. I can get on him next time. Now, listen, I am all for the deportation of 2 million Bliggedies that are crying and complaining about racism. I'm all for that. I'm all for 2 million Bliggedies getting up out of here. But I'm not for my tax dollars going to it. Honestly, you know what? I'll take a tax increase to get y'all up out of here. I would. Yes, I would. I take that back. If my taxes get raised up a little to get y'all up out of here, I'll take it. But the only problem is that would leave 40 million Bliggedies still in this country. And guess what? They're going to want more. You see, once y'all get y'all 2 trillion, the next group's going to want 4 trillion. Then the next group's going to want 6 trillion. You see how that works? You see how that works? I'm all for y'all leaving. Y'all should have been gone. Y'all should have been gone. Y'all had the PPP money. Y'all should have been gone. But now you want to leave a millionaire on Trump, not on Trump's dollar, on our dollar. I'm willing to sacrifice, though, to get y'all up out of here. I am. It's going to be a bloodbath over there. I'll tell you, that's going to be a bloodbath over there. But I'm willing for y'all to go bathe in that bloodbath. Y'all be over here tearing this country up.
U.S. corporate expansion on equal terms. America gains a trusted trade partner in West Africa. U.S. companies lead the charge in building 5,000 schools, national infrastructure, and defense systems. Contracts worth tens of billions. Later, they gain early access to a rising $100 billion plus market through fair bidding, not dominance. From roads to telecom, food to fintech, America gets...
Man...
billions. Later, they gain early access to a rising $100 billion plus market through fair bidding, not dominance. From roads to telecom, food to fintech, America gets first-in-line opportunities with a free sovereign ally. We are not building on what Liberia or Sierra Leone.
I guarantee he was going to say what they are currently now. I know you're not. I know you aren't. But let me just say this. Now,
he proposed wounds of slavery was to send the freed people out, equip them, and support them.
Now, let me say this. His plan sounds decent until we get to the logistics of the Bliggity. The problem is, even if Trump granted you all of this, you all wouldn't build anything. How are you going to get 2 million Bliggities to see eye to eye? How are you going to do what no one in history has been able to do? Moses is the only person that successfully unified some black folks. And look what it cost. Moses was the only person to successfully organize and unify black people until they got across the Red Sea. He only did it from the time it took to leave Pharaoh to get across the Red Sea. That was it. They was only unified for maybe a day. Moses is the only one to do it for a day. No one else has come close. So my question for you all is, how are you going to unify and organize 2 million bliggities with $1 million apiece? It's not going to happen. It's impossible. Y'all can't do it here. So not only would y'all be the biggest lick to ever come to Africa, not only would you all have every African country coming to get y'all, not only would you have the folks that's there and impoverished trying to get y'all, but y'all would also be fighting with each other. Like I said, it would be a bloodbath. Nothing would get built. And then y'all would go on social media talking about racism. I know y'all. Y'all would get on social media hollering about racism. It's disgusting. Y'all should have been left. Dang, is it raining? It is raining outside. Let me go. We got time for one more. We got time for 2 more.
You said, as a Liberian, thank you for clarifying that. Please visit. It's a gorgeous country. I love my country. My Lord, you know I'm coming to Liberia one day. I got to. We got a connection. It's just not our nation. I also have to go to South Sudan because they the newest black nation in the world. I also have to go to Haiti because they the first black republic. My Lord, you never thought about it like that. But yeah, shout out to Liberia and all the black nations. Yeah. Black Americans, we need our own, and we need to be allied with the other black nations. It's peace if it's peace. You said, I mean, Liberia is already a state developed for African Americans. Just go there. Actually, it's not. Liberia was started by the American Colonization Society. And when the African Americans were sent there, it was already Native Africans living in that land. So yeah, but peace to Liberia. That ain't our nation, but it is an African nation, and we could one day be allied with them. So I hope Liberia is successful, but that's not my nation. We need our own nation. Peace and peace.
What I find interesting is, what have black people shown anybody black that y'all are able to build a nation? Like anytime we've seen black people congregate in large numbers, nothing good happens. If there isn't some type of structure that's over it, nothing good happens. What black person do you all trust to take y'all to another country and govern y'all? Who? So again, this notion that we need our own black nation, that's why I say there's no way Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson thought that was a good idea. It had to have been capped. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way they thought it was a good idea. Propaganda. It was propaganda.
Imagine gaining your freedom and then being told to leave the country you were born in. After slavery, thousands of freed black Americans faced a cruel reality. In the early 1800s, the American Colonization Society pushed the idea that black people should be returned to Africa, even though most had never even been there. Leaders, including President Monroe, supported it, not to help, but to remove black Americans they didn't want to integrate. They were shipped to a new colony called Liberia. Many arrived sick, homeless, and facing a strange new world, treated like outsiders by local Africans and struggling to survive. Today, Liberia's capital is called Monrovia, named after President Monroe, the same man who helped force their journey. Freedom, but at a heartbreaking price.
Like I said,
A new colony called Liberia.
Black people would throw a fit at even the notion of Donald Trump saying, I'll pay y'all to leave. This is why I said what Lincoln was doing was, it would have been the same reaction back then as it is now. How many black folks went to Liberia? I bet it wasn't 1 million. I bet it wasn't 500,000. How many black folks? And then I talked to a young lady that's from from Liberia, and she said the black folks that came over there were horrible. She said the black folks that came over to Liberia was oppressing the people that's already there. What she said. She said the black folks that came to Liberia started oppressing the people that was already there. What she told me. She said, we hate them. I said, you mean to tell me the black folks left here being oppressed and we over there oppressing y'all? She said, yes. I said, oh my goodness. Let me look this up real quick. How many Negroes went to Liberia? How many? I told you. So 16,000 went to Liberia by the time it was the end of the century. So from 1822 to 1899, 16,000 blacks went to Liberia. And then it says 6,000 African recaptives. So 16,000 black folks went to Liberia, like I thought. A very small amount. Donald Trump saying he'll pay black folks to leave would send them in a frenzy. It would send black folks in a frenzy if he said that. I'll give you $1 million. They would be insulted. They would throw a fit because the majority of black folks know deep down inside this is the best place for them. Black people only go live somewhere else with American money. They don't go there with the country's currency. They only go with American money. So they can live like a king or a queen over there. Brando Smith said Liberia's president was Tubman in the 20th century. He was Americoco or whatever it's called, and he advanced that country like crazy. Check my facts, or I might have it mixed up. Maybe. Mystic Philly said, that's a fact. I have a friend from Liberia, and she said the same thing. That's why her family came to the U.S. That girl was telling me how horrible it was under African-American rule. I said, my goodness. She was like, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. She said way worse than white folks even thought of being. TikTok said, Google says 80,000 left back to Sierra Leone. Right. Like, again, y'all, anybody talking about a black nation, just ask them, what have black folks shown you all this could be possible? 2 million? Thank you, Vintage Goods Willie. Breaking Bad Blast. Thank you, Vintage Goods Willie, for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Cruise Missile. Thank you so much, sir. Always supporting. Thank y'all so much. Y'all showing me so much love all the time. Vic, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much, Vic. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Willie Doc, thank you again. Not again. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And Alethea, thank you so much. Always supporting. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Listen, I love y'all. And let's thank a Goddess Navi for moderating today. Thank you so much. Y'all made the shows enjoyable for me. I love doing them because y'all have me cracking up. Y'all have the best comments and the best insight. And a lot of y'all are experienced too. I would say that too. A lot of you all have real life experience. And I really appreciate that because y'all share a lot with me. A lot of y'all are intelligent and well-read and well-versed. I mean, I don't know. I'm just blessed to have y'all in here listening to me run my mouth. So I love y'all and I thank y'all, and I will see y'all on Wednesday. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all.